Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Literally What. We are in the month of February. Can you guys believe it? Because I am just so glad we are out of the month of January. Even though I love January, I think February is just a nice little segue to get a little bit further into the year. I don't know why January felt so long. It felt like a Monday or just like a really long work week. That was such a long month. That was like kind of crazy. But February, another one of my personal favorite months. My husband's born in February. A couple of my other best friends are born in February. And I also am a big Valentine's Day girl. And I feel like in this world, you either hate Valentine's Day or you love Valentine's Day. I personally am a big Valentine's Day person. It's one of my favorite holidays. And I feel like some people don't even classify it as a holiday, but I just love it because it's, pink, red, all about love. I used to love, when we would be in school and everyone would hand out Valentines to people. And I don't know, it's just one of my favorite holidays. And I've just always loved Valentine's Day. Even I feel like it's also just a good holiday that even if you aren't dating or if you're not like in a relationship, it's still like, to me, it's about just love and loving everyone in your life and, Galentine's and just like your family. And I just think it's a really cute, fun holiday. So I'm excited for that. And if you're not, I'm so sorry. But yeah, I feel like people just like hate it, or like love it and have always loved it. And I've just always been a really big fan of Valentine's Day. So I'm excited. And it's also like a shorter month. I think it's just going to be a really good month. And also speaking of which, we're done with the first month of 2025. So if you guys were doing dry January, I was doing dry January and it literally was so easy. I thought it would be really difficult, but I feel really, really good not drinking for the whole month, and I'm gonna kind of keep pushing. I think even if you're like not a super big drinker, I think it's good to kind of just take a step back and kind of like evaluate your relationship with alcohol. And I think for me, going a month without it, it just made me realize like I really don't need alcohol, and I think it made me more aware of it. And like, yes, I, of course, I'm going to, have a cocktail when I'm out with my girlfriends or for special occasions and holidays. But other than that, like, it doesn't make me feel good. And I mean, if you look more into it, it really is like poison. Like, there is no benefit to alcohol. Like, I know some people say like, oh, well, red wine. Like, no. I mean, if you look into it, and throughout the whole month of January, I was listening to podcasts, reading books about it. Like, it's not good for you. Like, at the end of the day, so while I'm not going to cut out alcohol for the rest of my life, I think I'm definitely taking a step back from it and being really mindful of when I am drinking and using it for special occasions and things like that. So if you didn't do dry January, try maybe dry February because it's like a shorter month and there's not really any big like holidays besides I guess like Galentine's and Valentine's Day. But I would just recommend to anyone, like if you drink, just try like a month without it. And I promise you will probably see results, big or small. I think just for me, like, I just feel a lot better. I was doing a habit tracker for all of January and I just finished that up yesterday. So I now made a new habit tracker for February. And so it was really cool to kind of see the habits that I was kind of lacking in January. And so I'm putting a lot more focus into that this year. I added a couple more habits. So this year is starting off strong for me. And it's an exciting time to kind of look back and see everything you've done in the month. So anyways, that was a long rant. But yeah, my birthday was last week and I think had 2 meltdowns. I don't really cry on my birthday because I'm a big birthday girl, but this birthday was genuinely just like a really hard birthday for me, but I got through it and now I'm just like not thinking about it anymore. But it was a really good birthday. Went out to dinner, went down to Orlando. Had a lot of cake. Like I ate. And also, okay, the one thing I will say that I noticed about a month without alcohol, I don't have a sweet tooth at all. Never have. Never been a dessert person. But this whole month, I have just been like craving sweets. And I think scientifically, your alcohol raises your blood sugar level, something like that, where when you're cutting out alcohol for a period of time, your body's like craving that sugar. So I have been like a dessert person. My husband and I have been making so many desserts. I made cookies last night. So I think I need to focus on cutting out sugar also but it's like one thing at a time, like there's so many things that we need to do for our bodies and it's like impossible to do it all at once. But yeah, really good birthday. I mean, kind of. It was like a hard birthday, but I'm looking forward to my 27th because for those who don't know, my 27th birthday is my crown birthday. So you've probably heard of like golden birthdays where you turn, say you're turning 19 on the 19th, 25 on the 25th. So I will be turning 27 on the 27th in the year 2027. I'm pretty sure people who were born in 2000 always have a crown birthday. And then other than that, I don't really think a lot of people get a crown birthday. So I am doing a whole big birthday bash for my 27th. So I was just kind of looking towards that this past birthday and trying not to think about my age and just focusing on my 27th because that's going to be a huge, amazing, beautiful, perfect birthday. But anyway, enough about me. I think that's everything I had to say. Yeah, make sure you're following the Instagram. Give this a 5-star review on Spotify or Apple. Also, I post these on YouTube every single week. So definitely go check out the YouTube. Go subscribe to that. And I think that's everything. So without any further ado, let's get into some hot gossip, hot take, stories, and advice that will have you saying, literally what? All right, before we jump into all of our stories, we do have our Super Bowl contenders. My theory was wrong yet again. 1 year, you guys. 1 year I'm going to guess based on the logo colors, and 1 year it's going to happen. But I'm just like not looking forward to the Super Bowl this year because we've already seen these two teams play. Now it's going to be another whole Taylor Swift Bowl. Like literally no one cares about that except, well, I know a lot of people do, but like I don't. I just want to watch for the football. And I don't want the Chiefs to win. I wanted something different. I feel bad for the Bills because I feel like I was looking at some stat. They've made it to the playoffs like a lot of times and to the Super Bowl, I think, and they've never won a Super Bowl. And it just like, I really thought the Bills were going to win. And it just really like upset me because I literally cannot stand the Chiefs. So I will be rooting for the Eagles. I'm pretty sure most of America is rooting for the Eagles. And we'll see what happens. With the Super Bowl. So yeah, I was wrong, but it's okay. Whatever. But let's jump into our first story, which is about the Jonas Brothers. I feel like a lot of the older Disney Channel celebs are coming back, like the Aline AJ interview. We have Miley Cyrus coming out with an album that we'll be talking about later on. Jonas Brothers coming back. Like, I'm just loving it. Like the Jonas Brothers again performing New Year's Rockin' Eve. Like, I feel like it's just like my people. They're all coming back and better than ever. But the Jonas Brothers are returning to Disney for a Christmas movie, which I think is so exciting. But Joe, Nick, and Kevin Jonas are heading home for the holidays in their Disney Plus special. It's currently under the working title Jonas Brothers Christmas Movie, which... okay, that's like no effort into thinking of a title, whatever. But this is set to hit the streamer during this year's holiday season per a Disney announcement that was made last Tuesday. The special will see the three brothers face a series of escalating obstacles as they struggle to make it from London to New York in time to spend Christmas with their families and also returning to their roots at Disney. So I'm excited for this. It's kind of giving the same storyline as the Good Luck Charlie Christmas movie, which, by the way, is one of the best Christmas movies ever. And this might be a hot take, but I cannot stand holiday movies or just movies in general where the main storyline is people trying to get to a destination and they just come across all these like difficult things and obstacles. I think it has to do with me having crippling anxiety, but it just stresses me out watching movies like this unless I've already seen the movie and I know it works out well and like what situations they're going to come across. But I don't love these storylines at all. We just watched, what was it? I think it was called Due Date on Netflix with Robert Downey Jr. and it was in the top 10 movies on Netflix, and we started watching it. And again, it's, you know, them trying to get to destination, his wife's having a baby, and now they have these whole obstacles to try and get across the country. So I had to turn it off. So while I love the Jonas Brothers and I love Christmas, obviously I hate this storyline and it's just going to cause me anxiety watching it because I'm like, why does this have to be the storyline? Can't there be a different storyline than trying to travel home for Christmas? I just don't like any storyline where it's like a stressful situation, if that makes sense. Yeah, which I feel like all movies have, you know, that when we learn in school, like the top of the mountain where it's like the cliffhanger or like the big issue. But movies like this, the whole movie is an issue. You know what I mean? It's like the whole thing is a conflict. So I'm still going to watch it because I love the Jonas Brothers and I love Disney. But yeah, we got to get more creative on these storylines. Okay, thank you so much. But yeah, this will be an interesting movie to see how it goes. So yeah. All right, our next story is about Pete Davidson, and he was detailing the horrible process of burning off most of his 200 tattoos. Not just one, not just two. 200. You guys, that's actually crazy. So he went on Jimmy Fallon, and he was talking about back in 2020, he started burning off his signature ink and his tattoos. And he revealed on the talk show that his tattoos are almost gone and that the process is horrible. He said they have to burn off a layer of your skin and then it has to heal for like 6 to 8 weeks and you can't get in the sunlight. And then you have to do it like 12 more times. So he went on to explain that the pain involved in getting the tattoos removed has been worse than getting them in the first place. And then he went to look at the audience and said, so really think about that Game of Thrones tattoo you're thinking of, all right? Really think about it. And so Jimmy asked him, so you would just think of something and go get it? And he was like, yeah, it was a weird time. I don't know. Everybody was getting tattoos like 5 years ago. And he said that he used Post Malone's decision to get the words always and tired inked under both of his eyes as an example of celebrities getting inked. He was like, yeah, me too, dude. I'm exhausted. While he's resolute about going all the way in the tattoo removal process, he did admit that he is keeping a few intact. He said maybe 2 or 3, but I'm trying to clean slate it, trying to be an adult. Which I think is interesting because I feel like most, if not all, celebrities have tattoos, and I think like getting a ton of tattoos is a very big thing in Hollywood, and you don't really see a lot of celebrities getting it burned off and removed. So I think this is really, really cool of him just kind of wanting a clean slate, leaving like 2 or 3. And I will never forget the Kim Kardashian quote where she said you would never put a bumper sticker on a Bentley, and then when she ended up getting a tattoo, I think it was on her bottom lip, and the whole world was like, okay, now everyone can get a tattoo. But I forget when she said that quote. I feel like it had to have been when I was a kid. Gushing quote, you won't put a bumper sticker on a Bentley. 2009. Okay, so I just remember seeing this as a kid, and then in the back of my mind I was always like, yeah, I would never do that. No, I love tattoos. I think they look really cool on other people. I don't think I would ever be able to get a tattoo, just because knowing myself, I'm a very, very, very indecisive person. And the thought of having something on me forever, like, just stresses me out. And I don't know if you guys watch Chrisley Knows Best, but why can I not remember his name? The older son. Oh my gosh. Savannah. Why am I blanking? Chase. Oh my gosh. Duh. But there was an episode where he got a tattoo and then his dad got pissed off at him and made him go get it burned off, and it just looked so painful. But I feel like in Hollywood it's just like normal, like you just see something and like you go get a tattoo. Like Ariana Grande, like her and Cynthia got like multiple tattoos for their movie Wicked. And some people like just love tattoos, but I think it's also cool seeing like people who are like, you know what, no, like I want a clean slate, I want to take some of these off. Obviously I can't imagine how painful that is. And I also was thinking about, because Ariana has a lot of tattoos, and I'm pretty sure they had to like CGI Photoshop all of them off of her in the movie, which is kind of crazy to me. But yeah, Pete Davidson. All right, I wonder if any other celebs are gonna follow in his footsteps. But yeah, think about the Game of Thrones tattoo before you get it. I always, growing up, I was like, people would always say like, if you want a tattoo, wait like a year, so that you know, like you really, really want it. Because it's something that's like so simple. It's like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna go to the tattoo shop and get a tattoo. But it's like, yes, but it's gonna be on there forever. So you can at least give it a little respect and think about it for a little bit of time before you get it on your body. So yeah, good for him. I want to know the ones that he's keeping, because I feel like people would tend to keep like, like really meaningful ones, or like I know people do like, they'll have family members like write a heart or like I love you or something like that, or like the paw of their dog or something. So yeah, I don't know. Interesting stuff. All right, our next story is about Miley Cyrus, and she is rumored to be releasing her lead single this month. So I don't know if we talked about it, but she is coming out with a new album this year, 2025, and it's called Something Beautiful, and it is going to be a visual album. So she said the visual component of this album is driving the sound. It was important for me that every song has these healing sound properties. Whether the songs are about destruction or heartbreak or death, they're presented in a way that is beautiful because the nastiest times of our life do have a point of beauty, which I think is a really profound statement, because I think it is so important in life when we are going through something it's really challenging or hard. Like, there is still beauty in life and there are still positive things happening around us, and it's so easy to kind of focus on the negative. But, you know, there always is a point of beauty. And so she said, they are the shadow, they are the charcoal, they are the shading, and you can't have a painting without highlights and contrast. And another quote is like, you're not going to really fully experience like a mountaintop unless you're in a valley. I know that's so profound, everyone, but it just kind of reminded me of that when I was reading her talking about the album. So in terms of visuals, Miley has taken inspiration from fashion to cinema. She has a lot of key references that are going to be brought about, and I think it's going to be a really, really, really cool album. And so I'm excited for her to release the single to kind of see like what the album is going to kind of, I guess, sound like. Because I feel like whatever single an artist puts out is kind of like what they're hoping the album is going to be like. And yeah, I'm hoping that this is kind of giving more, you know, drive into her going on tour again, because she needs to. And I know she talked about it before, so I need this to happen ASAP. And so now we're going to jump into the 2025 Grammy performers and presenters, because that is tomorrow. The one thing about like my podcast being on Saturdays is anytime there's an award show or anything important, I feel like it's literally the next day. And then by the time I talk about it the week after, like everyone has moved on. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the Grammys beforehand. And then of course I'll recap next week, but you know, it'll be long gone by then. And then we'll be focusing on, and then it's like the Super Bowl. Whatever. Anyway, so obviously we're going to get to see the winners of the Grammys, but we're also going to be watching a ton of performances. I'm going to list all of them for you. We have Billie Eilish, Charlie XCX, Chappell Roan, Benson Boone, Cynthia Erivo, Doechii, Stevie Wonder, Coldplay's Chris Martin, Lainey Wilson, Brittany Howard, Brad Paisley, Teddy Swims, Janelle Monáe, John Legend, Sheryl Crow, St. Vincent, Sabrina Carpenter, Shakira. That was a mouthful. So we are going to have a lot of performances, and this is a time where I wish that I didn't have to watch and sit through commercials, because it makes it such a long award show, because I think it's like 3 hours. But anyway, then for our presenters, we have Cardi B, Gloria Estefan, Olivia Rodrigo, Queen Latifah, SZA, Victoria Monet, Will Smith, Red Hot Chili Peppers, and Taylor Swift is also presenting, which a lot of people thought was very interesting, because I don't even remember the last time she presented or performed. But those will be our presenters. I'm not sure if there's more than that, but that was everyone that was listed. So I'm excited to see who's going to win, because I feel like everyone has such different opinions, especially on like album of the year, song of the year, new artist of the year. And it's going to be interesting to see like what route the Grammys is going to take. So anyway. Okay, our next story, you guys, is the crazy, crazy story of Rachel Kirkconnell, who went on Call Her Daddy. And I genuinely didn't really know what she was going to say on the podcast, but oh my gosh, did she. I mean, I just felt so bad for her. And we're going to break it down, obviously, because that's what we do here. And yeah, so in a quick summary, just overall, it was very hard to watch. I think she's going to look back on this when she's been out of the relationship for a little bit longer and just kind of realize like this was a really bad relationship. And just watching the whole episode, she was very protective of him, didn't really talk bad about him. And I think she left a lot out and didn't say a lot. So definitely go watch it, because you'll kind of get a whole, you know, view of everything she was talking about. But they ended up going to Japan, which was her favorite place to visit. And Rachel was picking a restaurant to go to for his little eating vlogs, because apparently like anytime they went out to eat, he would always have to make a video of it. And she was always one to pick out a restaurant, which, what is she, your secretary? But whatever. So she was getting really stressed trying to find a decent restaurant and was kind of getting really upset, which I think she was probably scared to pick a bad restaurant because he might have probably reacted in a bad way previously in their relationship. And so she ended up picking like not the best restaurant, and she started getting upset and crying at dinner because she didn't want to disappoint him, which, you know, if you read between the lines, it's giving very much, you know, if she messed up or picked a bad restaurant, like he would kind of get upset with her for that. And so she started crying at dinner, and he didn't say anything at dinner, didn't ask what was wrong, didn't ask what was going on, which that to me is a major red flag, because if you can sit across the table from your partner and they are visibly upset and you're not going to do anything about it, that is just like disgusting behavior to me. So then they went back to the hotel, and he was like, why are you so upset over this? It's just like a restaurant, a food review. And he was like, if you're so concerned over this, like how concerned are you going to be about something that like actually matters, like a big issue? So he's basically just going to turn it on her and make her look like the bad guy. And then of course she's going to feel bad and the whole thing. So then the next day, she's just kind of distant from him, and I think she left a lot out, personally. And they just kept getting in these arguments, and it opened just like this bigger can of worms. And he basically said that there were qualities about her that worried him, about having her as a wife, and he should feel ready to propose to her, but he just doesn't feel ready to propose to her. Okay? Can you imagine that? And what was even crazier is she said days before this, he was talking about how she was just like such an amazing partner. They were talking about rings, talking about babies, which if you listen to like the beginning and how she was talking about the relationship, she said like 3 years into the relationship, she was kind of asking more questions because they never lived together. He had like an apartment in Miami and New York. But they would always travel together. So they were basically living together, but he didn't want to live together yet. And, he would kind of like breadcrumb her. So, you know, she was asking about like, you know, engagement and like, where are we going with this? And then he would, you know, say something to kind of like keep her going and, you know, oh, well, we're going to look at rings, or, oh, let's talk about babies and our future together. But she said that he never would use action. It was always just words, and then he would never follow it up and through with actions, which is also a red flag. So, it was just, it was weird. I mean, if you've been online and followed them, he was always, you know, talking about jokingly, you know, when he was going to propose and like marriage and blah, blah, blah. And then he's just going to sit here and say like, I should be ready to propose to you, but I'm not. Which to me is he was stringing her along for 4 years, honestly. So then he ended up dumping her right before she had to leave to fly 12 hours back from Japan to Atlanta. And this is where I was kind of like, okay, she had to leave a day early. You can't leave a day. Why would you make her fly 12 hours just so you could stay in Japan another day? Like, and I was talking to my husband about it because I was like, you wouldn't, I mean, if I had to leave a day early for baby shower, you would make sure to come back and fly the 12 hours with me. You wouldn't make me leave just a day early and then you stay. That was crazy to me. And it gets way crazier. Okay. So he breaks up with her right before she has to go to the airport, which is why I think this was totally planned. And he then posts that weird ass breakup on Instagram 2 hours. He posted it when she was on the plane to go home. Now, the thing about Rachel's phone, she said she downloaded some VPN years ago and now she'd never get service on an airplane, which, you know, if her and Matt have been traveling together for 4 years, he knows she does not get service and cannot use her phone on an airplane. And he chose to post it when she was on the airplane. And so she said that all of a sudden she was sitting on the plane. She gets all these texts from her friends being like, what happened? I just saw the post. And she looks on Instagram and she sees the post and then no service. And then she is sitting on a plane for 12 hours. I mean, I can't imagine. I already get anxious on flights, but imagining like he posts this to his like, million followers, and all of her family and friends find out this way, and she's on a flight and doesn't have any service for 12 hours. And then imagine landing and having to open your phone and see everything. That to me just shows and proves his character, okay? That he knew she wasn't going to get service, right? And he decides to post it then and there. What I think is he already planned to break up with her. I think the whole restaurant situation was kind of like an easy way for him to kind of start picking fights and open that big can of worms and then have him say all those things to her. I think he posted that so that he can maybe have a fun day in Japan, and that's why she had to go home a day early and he stayed. So that, you know, if someone saw him with a girl or if someone saw him being sketchy, they're broken up, because he posted it 2 hours after. I mean, to post something 2 hours after a 4-year relationship to me is genuinely psychotic. I think that's insane. And so she said she landed, she got home, she was just like in her apartment, just like crying for days. And then apparently he called her and asked how she was doing. And they talked for like hours. And she also said that, you know, if he didn't post that, she didn't know, like, she probably wouldn't have thought it was like real and that they might have gotten back together. Which is, you know, kind of in a way, kind of like maybe attachment issues to him, because if my boyfriend of 4 years dumps me before I have a 12-hour flight and then posts it on Instagram when he knows I don't have service and tries to call me and ask me how I'm doing, I would have cussed him out. I would have blocked him. He would have never heard from me again. And she's sitting here saying that like they're just talking on the phone. So clearly she needs to just go no contact and like have a minute to kind of process everything. And then Alex, thank goodness, the interviewer was just like kind of like reassuring her like she's not in the wrong, because Rachel most of the time was kind of like blaming herself, which in emotionally abusive relationships, the men kind of can make it where you always think you're in the wrong, just like her being upset about disappointing him about the whole dinner thing. So she was basically telling Rachel like, you know, you're not in the wrong. You need to like not let him keep coming back, because they broke up once before, and that's a whole other thing. But yeah, it was just a really sad episode, and just seeing her, she just looked so beaten down, and I feel awful for her. I mean, I think he 100% let her on for 4 years. I think she left out a lot. I think she put so much pressure on herself because of his reactions and how he would react to her in certain situations. And, you know, Rachel is still clearly protecting him. And I think, you know, he probably treated her in a way where she felt she had to walk on eggshells, and just kind of listening to the podcast, like things she would say, like, well, he technically never lied to me because I never asked him. Like, girl, I'm trying to think what else she said. Yeah, or she would just cry because she was afraid of disappointing him and just like blaming herself. And I do think there's a lot she didn't say. I think she needs time to heal. I think he might have been reaching out to kind of see like what she was going to say or do. I think that she needs to totally go no contact with him. And I think that when she actually heals and has time, she's going to see a lot more clear. And I think she was, and I don't want to say conditioned and gaslit, but that was kind of the vibes that I was picking up from that. And, you know, I think she'll come out of this really, really, really strong. I think she has a lot of just like self-confidence issues. And I think a lot of that stemmed from him and probably his treatment of her. And it's just also, this is also just a good reminder for everyone out there that social media and the way people portray themselves is never the case. They genuinely, even to me, looked like the most perfect couple. I watched all their videos. They looked so happy, but I mean, then you get a little bit, I mean, I'm sure we got like maybe 10%, you know, of the relationship. And it's just proof, like, we don't ever know what's going on in a relationship. And to never compare yourself, because no one's perfect. People only want to portray themselves in a good light on social media. And this is just a good example. It's unfortunate it had to happen this way, but yeah, very sad. So I just know she'll become so strong from this, and I can't wait to see her growth from this and his demise, because he literally, I hate this man so much. Okay, so now we're going to jump into our 2 recaps. We now have the Traitors and the Bachelor recaps. I am watching the Bachelor this season, even though it will never compare to Joey's, but I will be recapping the Bachelor every week, so definitely tune in if you watch the Bachelor, and then we're also going to be recapping Traitors, per usual. So the Traitors episode 6 recap. You guys, these are genuinely the worst Traitors. I don't know what Alan was thinking when he picked them, because they suck. Not including Boston Rob. I think Boston Rob is amazing, and I wish he had a redo or better traders, because if he was actually working with 2 other traders or 3 other traders who knew how to be a trader, you know what I mean, and all worked together, I think the traders would have 100% won. I don't think they're going to win now at all because they all literally suck. So they killed off Bob H. You know, I mean, it kind of in a way makes sense. Danielle is just still pissing me off. She is so annoying. She is the worst trader. I don't know what she's thinking or doing. Like, what is going on in her head? I have no idea. But we have, you know, the round table where, of course, they're going after Boston Rob. You know, they should, because he's a trader. But it's also like, he's such a good trader. And, like, I don't want him to go, because if he goes, there's not going to be as great of gameplay. And Danielle and Carolyn are just going to make me literally want to turn the show off and never watch it, because I can't stand them. Even though I'm Team Carolyn, but I just can't. But anyway, but the way Boston Rob is just so good at speaking, and he talked himself out of that. However, Wes dug himself a hole and nailed his coffin when he was just speaking so rudely to everyone at the round table. And when he said, like, I'm going to go after anyone who writes my name down. If he wasn't such an ass to everyone, I think Boston Rob would have been the one to go home. But Wes was just being a jerk, and I think that's what sent him home. And I'm glad he went home, because he was actually so mean and rude. My gosh, like, what happened in your childhood to make you like that mean a person? He was just so rude. So then, oh my gosh, we have Carolyn writing Danielle's name down, then Danielle writing Boston Rob's name down. My thing is, like, Carolyn, yes, you can write Danielle's name now, because she's literally going around spreading rumors and lies, and, like, take the personal relationship out of it. Like, if you're a faithful, you wouldn't need to be going around making up lies about Carolyn. You know what I mean? So it's like, what is wrong with you? And then, like, writing Boston Rob's, it's like, they can't work together, so it's never going to work at all. So, oh my gosh, but Danielle is just, she's causing too much chaos. I need her gone. And then they all get in the turret at the end of the episode, all declaring war on each other. And it's like, Danielle's saying, well, Carolyn, you're driving me crazy. And it's like, okay, but you're the one literally going around saying her name for no reason. You're trying to get her banished as a traitor, and you should all be working together. Like, I don't understand it. So I am 100% Team Carolyn. I hope that Boston Rob and Carolyn can somehow work together to get Danielle out of there. And if Boston Rob and Carolyn goes home before Danielle, I'm going to be so upset, because Danielle sucks at this game. Like, the fact that I can't. She's so annoying to me, like, so annoying. And then, like, her sitting at breakfast, like, crying after Bob H. It's like, how is no one seeing how obvious of a traitor she is? Y'all need to get her off of there right now. Anyway, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see who they get rid of next week. Because if they get rid of someone who's been saying Boston Rob's name, then it's going to kind of look back at him. But again, he's a really good talker, so who knows? Anyway, now we have our Bachelor recap. And I love The Bachelor because I've watched it for so many years. I now watch it in a way to kind of decide who I think is going to make it to the top. And if you've been watching the Bachelor franchise for a while, it's kind of very easy to tell. And basically, you just listen to the music they play at the beginning. So if a girl walks out and she's getting kind of like funny music, or like, you know, just like different weird music, it's kind of gonna mean that they're either not gonna make it far, or they're gonna just cause drama. And if a girl walks out and it's just like beautiful, sparkly, sweet, amazing, love at first sight music, they're going to make it very, very far. Another tip is, if you watch the season previews that they do, it literally will give away so much. Now, I'm not giving spoilers, but I am going to be talking about the season preview a little bit, and like who I think is going to make it towards the end. So if you don't want to know anything at all, don't listen. But it's not spoilers. It's just like looking at the previews or like the season whatever, and you can literally tell so much by it. And I'm also going to share like who I think is going to cause drama and who is not going to cause drama. And if you don't want to know any of that, just don't listen in. But this is none of it spoilers. This is just for me watching this for so many years and like knowing how the producers film, because they have done the same thing forever. So, first of all, I like how Grant, is that his name? The way that I literally don't even, what is wrong with me today? My brain? Okay, yeah, it's Grant. first of all, I know there's a lot online right now that's like, oh, he's so there for the wrong reasons. Like, at this point, everyone who's going on The Bachelor or Bachelorette is there for some form of fame or Instagram followers. Like, let's not kid ourselves. But they could also be there in, you know, also wanting to find someone. You know what I mean? Anyway. But I liked how he was very upfront at the beginning. He was like, you know, I want to be a dad. I want to be a husband. I'm financially stable, emotionally stable, mentally stable, physically stable. So I liked how he was very upfront, and he's very sweet. Like, I don't know how he's going to handle all the drama that happens, but we'll see. But anyways, first impressions for me. So this is when I just watched all the girls get out of the limo, and based on vibe, energy, music, this is who are my favorite first impressions. So, Lydia, for sure, Carolina, Juliana, Dina, which I'll talk about her later, Chloe, my redheaded queen, love her, and I think that was everyone for me, like, first impressions who I think are gonna make it pretty far. Okay, so then we get the first rose was to Alex, which I was genuinely shocked and surprised. However, based on all of the previews I've seen, I think she's going to make it somewhat far. So I think she'll be sticking around for a little bit. Now, drama girls, here we go. Allie Joe, 100% there for the drama, there for the wrong reasons. I think Dina will get involved in drama, but I think it's going to be more of a way of standing up for herself. I think she'll go decently far. I just kind of liked her, like, personality. I don't think she'll be like a top 6 or anything like that, but I think she'll make it to the out of the country areas. And yeah. Okay, the first girl that got out of the car, Rose, I think she'll go very far, but I also think that she's not going to stay out of drama, if that makes sense. Like, I think she might, like, kind of piss me off a little bit. I don't know. That's kind of the vibe I got. Then we had Alicia. I'm half and half with her because I like her. She had so much camera time, so you know she's going to be one of those, like, personality girls who's, like, always having the talking heads. I think she'll make it decently far, but I also think she'll be kind of, like, in the drama. And then Bailey, it was way too much. Get her off my screen. She was too crazy. Parisa was, like, she was so funny, you guys. She was, like, probably my favorite of the night, though. Yeah. Okay, so then we get into the season trailer. I'm not going to spoil too much if you didn't watch the season trailer, but they do give a shot of 8 girls, which I think right now there's 19 girls. So if you watch, you kind of narrow it down to, like, who's going to be the top 8. Could there be 2 other girls who are on the group date and they'd had one-on-ones? Yes. But if you look at the season preview, you can see the 8 girls. And then they give a lot more, you know. Okay, I'm about to spoil who I think is going to be hometowns or top 2. So if you don't want to hear this or listen, I don't know this for sure. It's just literally based on the season previews that Bachelor gives us. Okay. So just skip like 30 seconds. So if you watch the season preview, it looks like it's Latia, Juliana, I think Rose make it to a hometown. I don't know who the 4th girl is, but it looks like it could be like it's a blonde girl. So it could be like Dina, I think her name's Natalie maybe. So that could be who makes it. But I really think Latia and Juliana are going to go far, and maybe Carolina even too. But yeah, just watch the, like, season trailer because it gives you so much insight. Okay, if you're back, hi. Yeah, so again, I'm excited for the season. And it's also interesting because the end, like, the whole, like, drama of the season is Grant is having trouble deciding who he wants to propose to even, like, an hour before the proposal, which is crazy because I feel like it's been so long since we've had a season where he's been torn. Because obviously Joey's season, he knew it was Kelsey. So it's going to be interesting. Also, it's going to be interesting if the person who he proposed to sees, like, an hour before he didn't even know who he was going to propose to, because that would have made me so mad. Like, I would want him to know 100% that he wants to propose to me. So anyway, I'm excited for the season. I think it's going to be really good. And yeah, I will say, though, my redheaded girl, Queen Chloe, I love her, but she literally wasn't in any of the previews, really. So that's really sad. But she needs to be the next Bachelorette, okay? Because justice for us redheads, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, so that was our episode of the week. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys have an amazing month of February. And next week we will have our Grammys recap, and then the Super Bowl the week after that. You guys, I need the Eagles to win, like, so bad. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to go follow the Instagram, subscribe to the YouTube, give us a 5-star if you're listening to Spotify or Apple right now. And yeah, love you guys so much. Thank you for everything as always, and I will see you back here next week for some more hot gossip, hot takes, stories, and advice that will have you saying literally what. Bye, guys.